I did not submit for the Chib Nation census. And the reason I didn't is so I could use it as a threat. I kept typing in his chat. I kept saying stuff like, play the bazaar or I'm going to fill out your census as a straight white male in his 30s. I really thought like he would bow to my demands, but he held his frame. I got to give him some respect for that. I was going to fuck his numbers all up by telling the truth about myself. Why would you lie? DL Guiga, it's not lying. I'm white, okay? People find it hard to believe, but it's true. You have kind of a Lebanese vibe to you? Purely by accident, I think, to be honest with you. Did you see that only 60% of Chib's viewers have a driver's license? What does it say about... this is a touchy subject. I was going to say, what does it say about my faith in Twitch viewership that I saw that 60% of Chib's viewers can drive? And I was like, damn, that's way higher than I expected. But I didn't want to say it with that exact parlance because I know being a driver makes you a better person. This is your brain on cars. Just one more lane, dude. Just one more lane. I love his straw man hallucinating. It's not hallucinating. It's an apparition. That's not a hallucination. An apparition is something you actually see that is incorporeal. It's an apparition based on consuming so many lines of like asymmetric, combative, millennial and Gen Z discourse online. Like in a way, I kind of respect the boomers because the boomers will just tell you they hate you. But then Gen Z, they like you, but then they phrase it like you're a bad person when they criticize you. Not you thinking that having a driver's license makes you a better person or something like that. And then I'm like, damn, you're not fucking with me? And they're like, no, you were top of my Twitch recap. Hang on, I gotta read this. Why can't I find the comment that starts with 6'1" bisexual? I'm scrolling, man, I'm scrolling. 6'1" bisexual chip chatters that can drive and would not eat a poop sandwich represent. I know that's right, man. Although I don't know, maybe I'm glad I didn't do the survey because I had to think. It was like, would you eat a poop sandwich for $1 million? I feel like I'm one of the few people on the planet that can actually come at that from like an informed position. Because I have had salmonella and campylobacter and norovirus 2 times. I would probably still eat a poop sandwich for $1 million. I would almost certainly get sick, but I would also, I would get some antibiotics, hopefully real quick, and then you're up $1 million, man. Probably. I feel like... You got kids, though? Yeah, but like, people... The same way that like bad actors say like, I don't own a house, I have a mortgage. That's like, people always use the like, I have kids defense. Like, I don't need to eat a poop sandwich. Like, I'm not in that kind of position. She's still got food on the table and, you know, like clean clothes and stuff. But I mean, I just feel like the value proposition is like pretty good. $1 million. Yeah, I got sick for free already. Entire sandwich? It would suck, by the way. I also, and people were telling Chibley that he's stupid, but I thought he was cooking, where he was like, they've done spicy food, like there's the one chip challenge, the this will light your butthole on fire if you eat it, the nuclear bomb hot sauce and stuff like that. Companies need to start making food challenges where the food just tastes fucking disgusting instead. I think that would be hilarious, man. Like he was talking about if Pepsi made a Pepsi that tasted like shit. Like literally like feces. And then people would film themselves doing like the Poopsie challenge. And I was like, this guy's onto something, man. I'm not saying it would be the best selling soda in the world, but I think it might justify like the R&D. It's a Nathan Fielder bit.
Tell everyone you got
yeah, he brought that up as well. But Oreo Coke? Ricky, are you here? I feel like the Oreo Coke has been catching some strays. It doesn't taste like cookies. It tastes like vanilla Coke. It's disgusting. It just tastes like syrup. Brother, what do you think it's made of? It tastes like what it is. That's a compliment. Yeah, I would eat a poop sandwich for $1 million. Then people always come in with the dumbest question of all time. $1 million American? Well, if you're putting it up, brother, I'll take $1 million fucking New Zealand, Australia, Canada. There might be some currencies I'd have to go to xe.com and check, okay? But 500,000? I'd have to think about that one. because we anchored at 1 million. So now pulling it back to 500,000, it doesn't feel good. If you had launched with 500,000, I probably would have given it more thought. But now in my head, I have the alternative of 1 million. So I'm like, how about 1 million yen? That's even better, bro, because I could spend it in Japan. What bread? I mean, if I'm having a poop sandwich, I'm choosing the bread. But then again, if you're giving me $1 million for it, maybe you can choose the bread. Maybe I decide. Maybe I don't care. I'll eat that shit on a fucking gluten-free bun or something. That's fine with me. I'll debase myself a little bit. By the way, TikTok's not sending their best, okay? I went pseudo-viral on TikTok for saying that breads beat wraps. And I'll spare you the rigmarole, okay? When my parents are staying with us, I love wraps because my mom makes me a wrap for lunch every day. When it comes to my own dietary decisions, when I'm independent, I'm not fucking with wraps too much. I much prefer a sandwich if I'm going to buy one or make one myself. The exception would be, if you're getting like shawarma or something like that, I can understand. Kebab. Otherwise, if we're putting lunch meat in some kind of carbohydrate-based vessel, I am a sandwich guy over a wrap for sure. But I think it's just because a sandwich is like somewhat unpretentious. And a wrap, despite being like nutritionally equivalent, has the air of like if someone's eating a wrap, I'm like, they think they're better than me. Like, I'm not eating a lot of carbohydrates. I don't eat bread anymore. Instead of 230 grams of carbohydrates, pieces of bread, I eat 160 gram of carbohydrates tortilla. Fuck you. Hop on the bike. Push the pedals. Let's see who's got a full glycogen store right now, you motherfucker. The voices are back. I love bread, man. You know what? The reason I love bread is because I feel like store-bought bread sucks ass usually, but fresh baked bread from a bakery is elevated. It's amazing. But like a wrap is always the same. No one's ever like, I got to go to the bakery to pick up some wraps. They're always like, hey, let me stop by Safeway real quick. There's a sale on like Wonder Wraps. Tortilla is kind of a different story, but I mean, as soon as you're using a tortilla, it's the wrap versus tortilla, I couldn't tell you stochastically what the difference is, but I know it when I taste it. Let's put it that way. I've been wasting all my wraps. I need to grow up. You don't need to grow up, but just buy bread. Because like if you have too much bread, you're like, yes, I'm such a carb-filled bread cell. Eating bread, putting butter on it, dipping the bread in the hummus, making toast, making a sandwich, cutting it up, making croutons, When you have like extra wraps, you're like, what the fuck am I going to do with these wraps? Then the most annoying motherfucker you've never met is going to be like, if you spray them with Pam and put them in the air fryer for 8 minutes, they turn into pita chips. Man, fuck you. Nobody's doing that shit. I'm waiting until they turn blue in 2 months and I'm putting them in the compost bin. Is this part of the midlife crisis where a rant goes on for 10 minutes over a wrap from Costco? Who's having a crisis, brother? You're the one watching. But you know what a quarter life crisis is? Oh, guys, I'm thinking about changing my league main. What the fuck are you talking about? I take offense to that remark. Come join us in the real world whenever you're ready. $60 a year for a membership, $120 for the executive. You get 2% cash back. Up to a maximum, I think, of $1,000 refunded annually. But still, if you go there, if you buy all your meat there and maybe like protein powder, you're coming out feeling pretty good. $1,250 next year. Oh, thank you, Jay Powell. Thank you for the stimmy check. Use promo code Northern at checkout. No, Costco's a good business. They don't have to give streamers affiliate codes. The service sells itself. The gist of it was essentially, when you have leftover bread, there's more ways to eat it that are delicious than leftover quesadillas. Or sorry, I've unburied the lead. Than leftover wraps. Like eating a piece of bread, continental, refined. Eating a wrap with nothing on it, disgusting. Like just shoving coal into the furnace to keep your body going for the day, right? Somebody replied, they got one of the top comments that said, this guy's never heard of quesadillas. Are you fucking stupid? First off, quesadillas are made with tortillas, not wraps, and there is a difference, okay? If I had made that mistake, people would be like, oh, dude thinks ketchup is spicy, thinks wraps and tortillas are the same thing. The mantle of fame, it cuts deep, brother, it cuts deep. Secondly, You need a second ingredient. You need cheese to make the quesadilla. Then you get caught in the spin cycle, idiot. Now you got the wrap out there. You're putting cheese on it. Now I made a quesadilla. Oh, but now I got all this leftover shredded cheese, but I don't have any wraps. Now you go back to the store, you buy wraps. Then you finish all the cheese and you got leftover wraps. Now you got to go buy cheese. Not to mention, cheese is expensive. And bread is usually cheap. It depends what you're rocking with, but... Now you're in the spin cycle. Now for like 3 years, you're in this like, well, I got half the cheese left and no wraps. I got half the wraps left and no cheese. You could use the cheese for something else. Oh, here we go. You want to have one quesadilla once, all of a sudden you got to do a 10-day amortization to get the shredded cheese out of your fridge guilt-free. This guy doesn't have tortilla chips in his cupboard. You're literally like, you're releasing the fucking ants to kill the beetles. And then you're releasing like ferrets to kill the ants. And then you're releasing crocodiles to kill the ferrets. And now you're like, shit, what do I release to kill the crocodiles? All because you couldn't compost 2 fucking wraps without feeling a pang of guilt. Nobody's judging you, man, except yourself. Put the 2 wraps in the compost. Then you got tortilla chips in the fridge. You got tortilla chips in the pantry, cheese in the fridge. But you can't have nachos unless you got salsa too. Now you got half a jar of salsa in there. Now, but you can use salsa on omelets. Now you got 4 eggs out of a dozen sitting in your fridge, and then you can't have omelets without having some spinach. And now you got a little watery spinach container in your crisper. Like, it's out of control, man. That's why I only eat rotisserie chickens. It helps, man. People don't want to admit it, but it helps.
Come on in.
I'm not advocating for DoorDash. I'm advocating for, listen, if you buy 12 wraps and you have 6 remaining, you gotta eat them. You gotta find a way to eat them. If you bought 12 wraps and you have 2 wraps left, I would rather put them in the compost instead of trying to create a perfect meal that has, not gonna happen. Just make a quesadilla. You will never be free from arguing on the internet. Your behavior has proven that for me. But food waste, I'm not going to get triggered by DL Guiga. I trust DL Guiga for 2 things. The time value calculation of money when you're buying something at the store that costs $30, and also corporate fashion. And I mean that as a compliment, not as an insult, because the Patagonia quarter zip was a great pull. When we pit 2 bad bitches against each other, go rice or potatoes. Guy who owns a Greek restaurant. I disagree with the premise of the question. You can have both. And that's why I eat at a lot of Greek restaurants. I'm not even joking. And they give you the bread, man. Let me try it again. First things first, I'm the realist. Drop the bass, make the whole place feel this. And I'm still in the murder business. I can hold you down like I'm teaching lessons in physics. You should want a bad like me. Something like me. Cup of ace, cup of goose, cup of Chris, cup of doop with the tuppa on my wrist.